So these structures, as you can see here, these were built by Idi Amin, who ruled Uganda between 1971 and 1978. He built this as a salt factory, but you can see the nature of the buildings, still strong, still standing, but in a dilapidated form because unfortunately the governments that took over Idi Amin never took his dream on, and therefore you see that this is really unfortunate because there's huge land. This was meant to be a salt factory, which was a dream by Idi Amin, whom we all know globally to have been a dictator. But here we have structures and there is huge land, and we have the mining community here, but you can see the material were used are still intact. 44 years later, after Idi Amin, the structures still stand. They are white elephants, but this is how Africa loses out because successive regimes tend to think the previous regimes were bad and therefore never inherit their dreams. Here is this is a building. You can see the space here. You can see the structure. You can see heavy metals. You can see the quality of the work that was done here by Idi Amin. You know, or who. So this was a urinal. These were toilets, and you can see how the quality of work that was done here. You can see the structures, the steel beams that were used have still standing, the roofing is still standing. Very unfortunate. Now we see animals coming here, living here. This was a huge establishment, as you can see here. Really huge establishment. These were meant to be maybe storage or something, but you can see the quality, the tiles, the workmanship was very, very good. 44 years later is only when we can see a structural damage, but the whole thing still stands. And yes, so unfortunately all the structures have been taken away as scrap. They have been sold as scrap. Everything has been stripped up, scrap. But you can look at the beam frank. You can look at the heaviness frank. You can see the heaviness of the beams, steel beams that was used. Even at the current time, we don't have a construction that can do such a work. Still heavy, still strong. 44 years later, wow. And this is a factory that can be revamped and it would start manufacturing salt, standing at a salt mining area, and unfortunately led to die by the current subsequent governments after Idi Amin. This is a sad story, but good enough. The metros, the structures still stand. So if any investor would be interested in this, it would be a very lucrative venture to produce salt. Every table in the world, every homestead must have a salt. And we in Uganda have salt industry where we can manage and mine salt. So it is really a venture that Minerals Africa Development Institution would love to look at. We need to look at partners. Now they have animals grazing around it, but you can see the whole structures that were left by the government of Idi Amin falling apart, but still good. It is still very strong, still standing because of the structures that were used, the beams, the steel beams, which were actually made in Uganda at the time. So we had a government at the time of a known dictator globally who had vision such as this, and still the steel that was used here were produced locally, because you remember Amin's government was under sanctions, so they didn't get to import this piece of work. But you can see the amazing structures. That was in front. Oh, I thought I had been bitten by a snake. Yeah, so yeah, you can see these amazing structures. Wow, look at these beams. Look at these steel beams, still standing. It's only the metals, the iron sheets falling off. Even the concrete is still standing. Even inside, the structures are still strong. It's only the light metals that have been taken away as scrap. But even the staircase, the metals that was used for the staircase, is still strong, as you can see.
Some of the machines were there, some of the machines down.
So,
They were all
so this is a story of Idi Amin's salt factory. You can see this must have been a boiler. This must have been a boiler.
the water used to come from the lake, salt lake.
Yes. Yeah. Is this salt?
No.
Hmm?
It's form of salt, the soil has formed into salt.
Yes, the soil has formed into salt. Years after the premises were abandoned by the fleeing Idi Amin. It's a story that needs to be repeated. This must have been a boiler for boiling salt.